welcome back to my channel. So this week is going to be a very busy week because I'm officially starting my final year journey. So today I'll be going to submit my project topics to my project supervisor. So if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Ahmad Simeya and I'm a final year student. Please don't forget to watch to the end and please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you. So guys, quick updates here. I forgot to tell you guys how the whole project topic submission went. So I was able to submit the topics to my supervisor and he approved one. So now I can finally start my project. And you guys, tell me why I have 4 lectures today and I've only managed to attend one. Like just one. I had to rush back to my hostel to get my power bank because my phone was about to die. But yeah, I'm about to leave now. So and you guys, don't mind the camera angle. My roommate is at the back, so I don't want her to show. That's why I had to put you guys this way.
In respect to what you are going to do, you can right now the war.
So guys, we're at the African Young Speakers Forum Summit and we're waiting for them to start. They gave us this tag. What do you call this?
Okay, let's leave this part of the room. Just my friends here looking.
I want to say, if you are here and you hear my voice, give yourself a round of applause. Your voice? Which kind of power is that? Your voice? Now we're talking. Do you really think that? Do you really believe that your voice is your power?
Yes.
By the time this program is done, I hope you will be fully convinced. Each one of us has a voice. And you know, especially for young people, when you're in school, you have an experience like I will describe shortly. Please play the video.
What do you think? If you're healthy, you ain't gonna work.
It's that.
But if you're sick, you got 2 things to work. The law said there's only 2 things in life that you worry about. Whether you're healthy or whether you're sick. If you're healthy, you ain't gonna work. But if you're sick, you got 2 things to work on. Whether you're gonna get better, whether you're gonna get worse. You get better, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But if you get worse, you got 2 things to worry about. Whether you're gonna live, whether you're gonna die. If you live, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But if you die, you got 2 things. Whether you're gonna have that, whether you're gonna have it. If you're gonna have it, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Whether you're gonna have it, you got 2 things. Original or extra crispy?
Thank you so much. So, while that is very funny, when you're in school, you don't have more than a few things to worry about. I need to pass my exams. I need to make sure that I get to class on time. I need to meet the requirement that someone else is setting for you. But for many of us, final year students especially, you're at this point where right now, you're focused on your project. You're focused on meeting those requirements. No way. Nobody's leaving me behind. throw away your pen. Am I right? Isn't that how we celebrate when we finish? I will never use things again. And I remember doing that when I was in school.
We had equal popularity, at least so I thought. I was the brightest student, first position throughout. But for some reason, my class teacher rigged the election, kind of like what we see in Nigeria, right? Eventually, I found out that the reason why she rigged it was simple. She believed that girls are not suitable for leadership positions. That in a class of 25, this little girl, Joanne, with her squeaky voice, is not good enough to command the attention of the classroom. Is not good enough to be the one writing the names of noisemakers. Is not good enough to be a leader. That realization changed something in me. Because I know deep inside me, between me and those two other boys, there's not a lot of differences. Whatever they can do, I can do, and even better. As long as I put my mind to it, there's really no difference. But after a while, I realized that the society does think that there's a difference. And I set out to change that notion. Junior secondary school passed, senior secondary school passed. There weren't a lot of opportunities for me to show what I could do with my voice. So I waited. I bided my time until I got into the university. In my first year, I discovered the debate club. It was an amazing place where like-minded individuals come together and genuinely they argue for 7 minutes. It was like they enjoyed the art of arguing. And when I got there, that was the only thing that interested me. The fact that you could give somebody a specific motion and just give them 15 minutes and they are ready to speak. No preparation, no 2 weeks of thinking about the motion, there on the spot. So I enjoyed this. I stayed within the club, I practiced with them, and I grew within the club. Eventually, a spot opened up to become the president. And unfortunately, they weren't having elections. It was an appointment-based system. So I knew that there was only one thing I had to do. I didn't need to convince the multitude of people that I was the right person. I didn't need to convince people like my primary school teacher who did not believe that I was good enough simply because of my gender. All I had to do was prove that I was intellectually sound enough to get this position and solve the problems that the debate union was facing. And so I did. During the appointment season, I turned out and I was appointed as the president. I will tell you one thing. They say heavy is the head that wears the crown. But to be honest, until you wear that crown, you'll never know how heavy it genuinely is. You see, when people talk about leadership, they think it's just about wearing a fancy title. The one thing I've learned from being president is that you must put yourself last on every single list. Not just on physical list, but even when it is time to do things like collect awards, do things like speak up, do things that other people are not ready to do. See, leadership for me has been a race, but not a race to finish first. It's been a race to show how much I can prove that I am able to do certain things. Leadership to me is not just about wearing a fancy title. It's about being humble enough.
She speaks at every occasion. Everyone knows her name. She wants to be part of every activity. But there comes a time in her life when people put her down. She can't speak no more. She can't stand. There is now low self-esteem. And she grows up with it. She takes it to secondary school, being the youngest in her class. I think the same girl has the same story with her Movina. Because she's so intelligent, they push her up. Double promotion, and she becomes, she's 11 years old in SS1. You get the kind of bully she faces. She tries to stand up for herself, but it doesn't work. She takes it on, her low self-esteem goes down. She enters the university. She's university, but still, she thinks she can find solace in men. She thinks she can find solace in people, but it doesn't work. And one day she stands up. She says, no, this is not where I'm meant to be. I know how I was when I was younger. I know my power. I know what I say. I know how I am in every activity. This young girl stands up and says, no, this is not where I am meant to be. She picks up a phone. Even in the 200 level university.
You need to actually work more, do more, learn more in order to inspire them more. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with a lot of people. But the very most important thing about going far is they have to be a voice that leads the people that is ready to go far. Leadership is not all about long memories. It's not about PPA. It's not about PowerPoint slides that you love with goals. Leadership is way beyond preparing the budget for the next event. Leadership is way beyond writing out minutes of meetings or planning meetings. Leadership is not about always answering the questions or always having the answers. We are not Batman. We are not Superman. Neither are we Black Panther. We are human beings. We don't have all the answers. We may not be the smartest. We may not be the most intelligent. Leadership is not about doing it yourself. Leadership is not about going to carry out the food when it's time for the food to be brought out. It's not about going to set the chairs when it's time to set the chair. It's not about sending out memos for plan and so many other things that leaders do. Leadership is about your voice. You lead with your voice, your power, on your feet. Very important. On your feet. When something's
for the conference. That's why it's an honor being here and taking this space. Your voice. And on the topic of discourse, how I use my voice in leadership. First of all, leadership is all about the ability to influence people to get a certain goal. And your voice, in this case, is not about who talk the loudest. It's not about who speak more. Your voice talks about what goal-driven as leaders. I feel like as leaders, when you use your voice, you should be able to command what priority. You should be able to speak what is necessary. What is actually the priority? Be courageous. Also, how you translate your voice into action matters. As well, you should be influential. Leaders are only what meant to be what influential. Secondly, there are always challenges when it comes to leadership. You definitely face criticism. You definitely face what pressure. And you also face clash of interest. The ability to balance this interest is what matters. I feel like as a leader, to be at your peak is the ability to manage people. Managing people makes you a better leader. Moving forward, I'll use myself as a case study. I feel like I came into the space or the cycle of leadership for my year one, that's my 100 level, as a young student of political science, University of Abuja. I came in and I wanted my voice to be heard. What drives leaders is when you want your voice to be heard. Once you make this decision that, okay, from now on, my voice will be heard. Definitely, you are falling into the line of what leaders. I took the bold step of contesting for the class representative to my level. And by God's grace, I won the majority vote, emerged as winner. And since then, I led for 3 consecutive years. That's 3 sections. 100 level, 200, and 200 level. Afterwards, I saw that leadership is now more taking bigger responsibilities and being responsible. Responsive leaders are true leaders. So I stood up for the position of the departmental president, which by God's grace, I'm standing as a victor and still in the system. So what drives leaders are what their ability to take responsibility and be responsible. This is what makes you a better leader. Leadership is not about who commands more, who dictates more, or is being authoritative. The ability to be intentional and truthful gives you the chance of being a better leader. And this is what your work should be all about as leaders. Leadership, as I say, must be intentional with what you do. Emphasis on intentional. You should be able to speak truth at all cases.
So the thing is your voice, your power, right? So I'll be talking about it in the emphasis that your voice is not just the voice you portray out. Your voice can be your writing and how you present issues that affect you. I have an initiative, and we do this segment when we talk about feminist words. So forgive me for using feminist terminologies and all of that, but I think a feminist we should also is an Egyptian feminist. She's late. Her name is Nawal El Sadawi. We'll be using how her story portrays her voice and her power. So Sadawi's story is not something that we are all not used to. She didn't come into activism, rather by seeing situations that are far from her or hearing of the beliefs. She came into activism by experiencing situations that are close to her. The same way we all experience different situations that are close to us in our family, in schools, in houses, office places, whatever. So to me, she's actually a very bold person compared to most of us. Because her first letter was a very bossy letter. She said she wrote to God. And in that letter, Nawal said she told God that if she was not going to be treated as equally as her male counterparts, that is her brothers, then she didn't see any reason in belief because everything was God's will. When she became a doctor, she saw firsthand how women's bodies, how women's issues are treated lightly by the government in power and by society around them. So, in an interview, she said something very smart. You are a woman too. And we should not just be advocating for equality, we should be advocating for balance. Men and women should be treated equal, but there should be a balance in society. Family is the smallest unit, and family is the controlling force behind the narrative that are pushed into society. If we as the youth, if we as a family can come together and decide this cannot happen in my family, a whole lot of things will be better. Thank you for listening to me.
Daddies, the uncles, my brothers, my friends, every single time you tell yourself that you are good, you will never hurt a woman. Yes, thank you, you will never hurt a woman. But do you know that every single time you stay and watch a woman being hurt, you are complacent? Your silence means that you confirm to the act that is being done. And when you do not raise your voice, 16 days, we are 4 days in, you do not raise your voice, you do not reshare any post, you living